Okay, so according to this, we are again live, and I want to thank you again for coming back to Spivey Talks. I know my voice is a little low. It's of course midnight, as it tends to be my new pattern of recording at midnight. Um, so yesterday, I did a continuation of the video about would you help, and true, the question it really does matter. Would you help? And it branched into a much bigger topic, and that was dealing with police and the police report. Um, Now, as I said, even in that video, I, I myself have been arrested, and I've actually been arrested a couple of times. And again, I'm not trying to pretend like I'm just a great guy, and I've always been just falsely accused of blah blah blah. But I have definitely been falsely accused on several occasions, where what I was accused of is not what I actually did. Like let's say I'm speeding down the highway and I'm drinking while driving, because clearly I have drunk while driving. Um, but then 5 hours later, I get a ticket saying that I ran a red light when I wasn't even in the car. It's like, wait, what? That's not possible. But that would be something that I mean that's a smaller way to explain what I'm saying. True, I may have done something in the past, earlier that day, 2 days ago, a week ago, a month ago, that I probably should have gotten in trouble for, but for whatever reason I got away with it. But then I somebody would give me some kind of accusation or charge or something with the police that would get me in trouble, but I didn't do it. And it's baffling. And of course, you want to fight it, even though you may have done whatever else. Also, now mind you, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you're bad. You're a villain," or whatever the case may be. But honestly, how many people speed? That's a crime. How many people drunk when they were under the age in college or whatever, smoked marijuana? That's all illegal. So no matter how you view it, if you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. To try to find someone this day and age who hasn't done something wrong legally, extremely hard to do, especially if you're over the age of 18. I'm not saying that there's not people out there who don't, but it's extremely rare. So we turn around and we give ourselves these classifications for what a crime is and how serious it is, um, based on somebody else's standards that is not you. You most likely had nothing to do with deciding whether a particular crime is heinous enough to be considered a felony or misdemeanor or whatever the case may be. And sadly enough, our legal system has it disproportionate to the crime based on trivial matters that we're not going to go into because YouTube and other sources don't really want content creators to really go into these topics. If you do, you can't monetize your channel and blah 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 blah. But you understand the concept. I don't have to sugarcoat that. Um, so there is the concept that doing one crime is way worse than the other, but it doesn't matter if that other crime that's not as bad could actually end up killing you or other people, whereas this other crime, nothing. You just spent your money and you sat in a room and that's it. So it's baffling. I don't understand. Um, but it's okay. Um, Anybody who chooses to do crime by choice has to be ready to pay whatever consequences they find that they have for said crime, should they get caught. Um, with that being said, I want to make sure that you understand my thoughts on cops because that's where this was really supposed to be headed. And I've actually said it repeatedly. Drink responsibly, or if you do something that is known to be illegal, that you are prepared to handle those consequences. So, what happens when it is time to pay or face the music or get arrested? because of whatever is done, was not done, or whatever the case may be. So this is about the interactions you have with the police. Now, there are plenty videos on YouTube and everywhere else of people expressing their legal rights to not give an officer their information or get out, stop what they're doing or be detained for unlawfully and all kind of other categories. It's plenty. It's so many on YouTube. You could spend several days just watching all these videos. And true, very, very, very true. The people in the video were 100% accurate about the law, about what was and was not legal for that officer to do. But that doesn't stop the officer from arresting them at the time. It doesn't stop that officer from beating them potentially at that time. And it doesn't stop that officer from potentially killing them. Think about that for a minute. Now, understand, I am a staunch supporter of saying if you are right, express that you're right. But you got to do it smart, okay? In Georgia, for example, you don't have to give your ID if you're stopped by an officer, unless you're operating a vehicle, okay? Or if they have probable cause, under the belief that there's some kind of crime or activity going on that needs to be stopped by the officer. So, if I'm walking down the street and the cop just wants to stop me, I don't have to give him my ID. I don't have to say anything to him. I have that right. Okay. Now, if he should say I'm under arrest, then at that time, yes, I need to give them my ID. If he wants to pat me down to check for anything or go inside my pockets, I can tell him I do not condone or give my acceptance and acknowledgement for him to search me. It's a legal search and seizure should he put his hands inside my pockets. What he has the legal right to do is to outside pat me down. That's it. He can't go in my pocket to take anything without my consent, and I don't give it. So, but the point is, I'm not going to constantly yell it and this, and this. What I will do, however, is immediately call for, say, a supervisor to come out on the scene. One, it gives another witness to the situation. Two, it potentially gives another camera or set of cameras to record the situation that's going on. And if, let's say, I was in a vehicle, then prior to them coming over to me, I probably, if I could safely dial 911 on my phone, I would potentially dial 911 on my phone so that it's listening if I don't have the ability to record what's going on by holding the camera up. By me actually being, let's face it, black, I don't feel safe trying to hold a camera up without them trying to say, oh, I have a weapon, or they don't feel safe, or they thought I was reaching for something and now I'm shot. Okay, fine. I get shot trying to reach for a camera. I'm in the hospital, if not dead. I was right the whole time. I didn't have anything wrong, but that didn't stop me from getting a bullet. That's not worth it to me. Now, having that audio recording sitting there on the side so that there's a 911 police call recording the whole thing, to have the camera, body camera, potentially if the officer has one on, if it doesn't disappear, having the dashboard camera on the cop car recording, assuming that doesn't disappear. Those are all things, as well as, like I say, from the other officers that you would have tried to call to be there. I'm not going to make a massive scene. No, that's not something that's conducive, and that's going to make sure I can live through this incident. The biggest part of this whole situation is trying to make sure you live through it, whether you're being harassed by an officer illegally, or if you did a crime, or whatever the case may be. Even if they're 100% wrong, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're wrong, they could have been a robbery 5 miles down the road 2 seconds ago, and a cop happened to be at the corner, seeing you was there on the corner, coming out of a grocery store, and they come at you saying that you did the crime that they know you didn't do, and you've been here like just getting off your shift at work. Don't fight it. Tell them, no, make sure it's audio. For the audio, if you need to call the backup, whatever, say it. But live through that experience so that you could be there to fight in court and prove to the world that you were right. Don't just prove to you and whoever might be standing beside you. Prove it to the world, but be alive to do it. We have had too many people die, get hurt, get injuries. And I'm not just talking black, I'm talking everyone. Because the difference is, mind you, I do believe Black Lives Matter. Please understand. But I do believe the real point of Black Lives Matter, because I've seen all these videos of people doing ridiculously stupid things and then just yelling Black Lives Matter behind it. No. That saying Black Lives Matter after you do something that's potentially a crime, that doesn't make it okay. To just yell at people with ignorance and then just spout the words Black Lives Matter after, it's not okay. Just like, for example, I just literally saw a video of some officers who had a drunken man in a jail cell, and in the jail, they were processing him, and he could barely walk. So he falls over, they drag him to a chair, they basically hold him down in a chair, and then the officer puts on gloves and beats him in the face. And every time he strikes him, he says, "Stop resisting, pow, stop resisting, pow, stop resisting, pow." They knocked this man unconscious. Ending result, he goes blind in one eye. They didn't even give him treatment until a few days later. But this is after they transferred him to another jail. So he was on somebody else's hands who didn't seek immediate treatment for him either. He's blind permanently. He was in the right. Because literally he didn't do anything wrong other than, of course, drunk driving, which is a crime. But that doesn't mean that he deserved to get blind in one eye and get beat by these cops. And there was no way for him to stop that, other than, of course, not to drive drunk, which got him in that situation to begin with. But that's still no excuse for what they did, because that was a crime. To me, all 5 of those officers should be in jail themselves. It's not my place, though, because at this point in time, I have nothing official to do with the legal system other than be a victim of some of the situations I myself have been in. And don't get me wrong, again, I made those situations because I allowed myself to go certain places I probably should not have been for the life that I want to live. Not saying I'm not allowed to be there or to be with certain people or to do certain activities, because I totally am. But when I think about what I'm trying to do with myself, especially now that I have a son, those activities and places, that's not for me. And for some people, they may agree. So my point is, and everybody, because too many people don't know their laws, and I say that to emphasize, every state has their own laws. So while I'm saying I don't have to give my ID up here for walking down the street, I need to carry it, of course, but I don't need to give it just because. In your state, you may need to give it up on the spot without hesitation. So know your state laws, and don't just assume because you heard it on YouTube or wherever, or from Sally's Jim, Sue Bob, whoever down the street, that you have to abide by whatever they said. No, find the law for yourself. There's websites, because you have a smartphone, you have a computer. If you don't, you have a library, you have a public library. Go get on the computer and research your local laws. If you want to stay on the right side of the law, you need to at least know what you're talking about and how to safely express it. Do it the right way. Live to see another day. Take it to court. Win your massive lawsuit. Go ahead and be rich. I don't know any other way currently that we are realistically going to stop police violence, police brutality, and whatever other situation these police have or feel they have to do wrong and bad things to people. Not just black, not just white, not just Hispanics or any other race, but people. And this isn't just an American thing. This is going on all over the world. And I would really like for people to understand that it's not even all cops. It's really not. It's not all cops. I even expressed in my video that, those cops helped me out in a massive way. They piggybacked me partway across my state from county to county to get me home. No ticket, no nothing. I spent about 3 hours yesterday trying to pull up news report or any kind of report about that accident. I couldn't find anything online. It was like it never happened, other than the fact I don't have a car and I was there and I know it happened. And the insurance knows it happened. I have a friend who became a cop right out of college. Well, let me rephrase. He's an associate. We were friends of a friend. So we had a mutual friend, and so we associated from time to time due to that. But when he became a cop, I told him, I said, "Hey, we can't be friends now. You're a cop." And at the time, I meant it. Like, true to this day, I still can't see myself ever becoming a cop unless it's like dire need to have funds to support myself and my son. Um, but more and more, as I keep seeing all of these atrocities that are being committed, I'm thinking maybe I should become one so that I can protect the people, so that I can be there to try to stop some of these wrong violence, not just from cop on person, but from person to person as well, which is what the original job of a cop is to be and to do, which is to protect and serve us American citizens, or whatever country that you're in where you have police or policia or whatever the case may be. I think too many people have forgotten that this is for everybody's safety. I would prefer to say that everybody can conduct themselves appropriately and in a more professional manner that's going to ensure that you all survive safely to the next day, so that cops don't even have to be hired or called. But it's not likely to happen. But for those of us and those of you who are determined to be in the right and to live right, or at least the best you can, true, you can't stop harassment from coming your way in all cases, but know how to handle it better so that you can live to see tomorrow. If you have any experiences or examples of something that's happened to you or somebody go ahead and comment down below. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day because I think the battle on this is about to stop, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just want everybody to be safe and live to see tomorrow. Y'all have a great day and great night. Love you and see you again.